right, guys, I am going to share with you how I set up my TN for a quick little travel weekend. And along with that, I'm also going to hey guys, I am about to go on a trip to Gainesville, Florida, which is where my alma mater, University of Florida, is. We're taking the kids, and I'm gonna do a quick setup in my new Starbucks Reserve Roastery passport size TN, and I'm just gonna show you how I sort of prep all my supplies and kit for a quick weekend away. So join me for this video if you want to see how I set it up, and also sort of do a little pre-prep on the notebook or little sketchbook that I'm using. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can join me on my little art adventures that I take with you all, stationery, art journaling, watercolor, and other cool things. All right, let's jump in. Alrighty, guys, I am, if you can't tell, very nasally. I have a cold I'm at the end of. I've had it for over a week now, and it's been sort of a miserable week between me and the kids being sick. So I've put off doing any sort of videos, but I really wanted to film this before I left, and also kind of use it as an opportunity to make some decisions for myself and talk myself through. You guys know I've got a couple videos up like that, and it really helps me to sort of speak it out loud and pretend, you know, you're sitting here with me thinking through these things. So I've got my little latte in my beautiful octopus China pattern, and then I will show you first things first, the TN I'm going to use. Alrighty, so I bought this off of BST a couple weeks ago, and I'll show all this to you guys in a different video because I really want to do a sort of show and tell of all of my TNs that I've collected. But the only two passports I have are these two. The camel, which is of the very suede-y variety. It's growing on me. I've put it aside multiple times and not used it. But sometimes I feel the urge to kind of fall back into this really small format, and that was my thought process here for this little weekend trip. The last vacation I went on, which was a few weeks ago, I've been very fortunate lately to get away. I did one of these accordion art journals, and I have a video up on this. I will post. Go check it out. I absolutely love the way it turned out, but this is definitely too much for this trip. So I thought about trying a smaller version of the accordion. So here it is. Passport size number 18 insert, which is the accordion. I'm just going to open it up for you guys here, and we'll see if it's the same as the other. In addition to a video where I show you the finished product of that Philadelphia Traveler's journal, I also have a Jet Pens haul video up where I open the standard size of this, and I actually do some watercolor. I do some watercolor on video so that you can kind of see how this takes the watercolor, which the short story is this is definitely not watercolor paper, but of course it says that it is the kind used for watercolor painting. So it is not 100% cotton, but I will say that for what I like to do, which is just a quick abstract kind of background to set the tone for the little notebook, it worked perfect with very little buckling. So I know I want to take this. I know I also want to take this. I picked this up at Amoy Zaka in Philadelphia, and they're a Traveler's Notebook partner store. I just put a video up in the last couple weeks about them. I will link that video as well, and check the description. I'll put all of those links down there as well. But anyways, these little tickets are super cute, and they have the color theme that I'm going for, which is orange and blue. The University of Florida Gators are orange and blue. So this whole thing is going to be orange and blue. Different tones and values. I'm not going to stick so super close to, you know, the really saturated colors of the team, but just sort of that general color scheme. So here is the Traveler's Notebook, and embossed it says Starbucks Reserve Roastery, Tokyo. It is blue, although probably on camera it's showing pretty black. It's very dark. I'm not sure what it's going to look like over time. In the spine, you can see more. I would call this, I don't know. To me, this has definitely a greenish undertone to the blue. And I mean, even looking at it now, it's a very dark turquoise to my eye, but I love that, so I'm not going to complain. I wish it was not quite so dark, but again, we'll see over time what happens. But it's a really beautiful little notebook. So she sent, the BST person that sent it to me sent it with these inserts, which I believe it probably came with this one, and this is great, beautiful paper. But for this specific trip, I'm just gonna take these out, and I'm so glad that she put all these little things in here, because I will absolutely use them. I love this as a little dashboard. I do want to set this up after this trip to be a little cafe journal that I take with me whenever I go to a coffee shop, and I like to journal about basically all the different coffee shops I go to, because I go to as many coffee shops as I possibly can, multiple in a day if I'm traveling. And I just think that it's a good place to, you know, sort of get a feel for the area. But in my own town, I go a lot because I work from home, and it's a good way to get out of my house. So I really do have sort of a bunch of cafes on rotate here in my hometown in South Florida. So I'm going to put this on this jump band, because I know that I'm going to want to be able to take this out. It's pretty thick. And let's see, I'm just pulling some random stuff. Oh, I definitely want to switch out the band around the middle, because again, orange and blue is my theme. So I'm going to go with that there. This is a random little pocket I pulled out of another passport that I had. So I'm going to set this up here in the center. So this will be good for putting random little bits in. Let's put some of these. I'm literally just pulling things off my desk right now. My desk is a real mess right now, because basically what I did is I pulled out tons of old planners and notebooks out of my, just basically off my shelves and drawers and everything. I really do need to go through them all. And I found all of these little things in there. So things that I knew I was sort of missing. I'm going to take one of these for sure to help this lay flat when I'm out. So there's that. And then let's see. So ultimately this guy is going to end up in here on the center band, because this is the main event. And then I think this is going to, let's see if it'll work just around the, yeah, that appears to work. Okay. All right. So that's pretty good so far. So I've got a little zipper pocket with the card size slots here. I've got the album in the middle, and then I've got this little message card book on the back, so I can pull some of these out to use them. And I probably will use them as just little ephemera bits, and also to put a photo over the top and use it sort of as like a background piece. So I'll show you in a minute how I like to do that in my notebooks. But so far, I think this is a good size. I don't want to bulk it up too much because I'm taking other planners with me, as you'll see. So I don't need to go absolutely crazy. So let's pull that out. Let's see if I'm going to be able to just pop this through or not. Okay, come on. All right. I was being a little fussy, but I got it. Okay, already I am in the Gator Spirit. Yeah. So I'm trying to decide if having the bright band on it, I think it actually makes it look more black. So maybe we'll call this a Halloween notebook. It's definitely looking it's definitely looking like that, but I'm just okay. So that said, this is going to be my little actual notebook, and I'll probably stick this in here as well, so I have a little hardback with some lines on it. So that's good. Okay, so this is going to be the actual journal part that I'm using for the trip. Let me show you the other bits that I'm going to take with me for the art part. Well, I'll show you the conundrum that I was working through. So on my last trip to Philly, I took this. It's a Hobonichi, I think they call it a desk pouch or something. It's so beautiful. This thing is just so gorgeous. I just love pulling it out. It makes me really happy. It's definitely something that I like grab for all the time. So what I had in here was primarily I needed something for my Kodak mini printer. And then I had a whole bunch of other stuff in here that I can't get flattened. So the printer, a glue stick, a roll of tape, like double-sided adhesive tape, and those are really the main things. They take up space, right? So you need something bigger. So then I was looking for something else, and I decided to try to set this up, which this is my apple pig leather, what they call a, I think he calls it the book bag or the purse bag. I don't know, but all I can tell you is this thing is gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I have so much guilt about not using this. And the main reason why is that I bought this thinking I was going to use it for my Hobonichi cousin, A5. And it does fit in there. It absolutely fits in there. But the way that I use it is I like to have lots of stuff sticking out and up. And it was getting smashed in here. So I just didn't account for having a little extra size on the top and the sides, even if it had been like a 1/4 inch. And so I'm just saying this because if you ever think about getting this bag, he will absolutely customize it to be whatever you want it to be, which is like so incredible. So definitely, if you use that size, go for it. In fact, I'm actually thinking about looking into getting it for a standard size. But anyways, I should not put that in my mind because I don't need that. I do not need that right now in my life. But anyways, so the reason why is because I knew it had a thick piece here, and I was thinking, oh, I just need to find a way to put the printer in something. So I found an A5 zipper pouch in my stuff. And this works. So I've got the big stuff. So I've got a little stapler. I've got the double-sided tape. I've got the printer. I pulled this folder out of something else, and I'm just kind of testing it out. I don't think I need it, but we'll see. This is the other side of the zipper pocket, so I have some postage in here. This is an A5 folder. So this is from Midori brand as well. And it's like the clear folders. I obviously bought it because it's covered in coffee stuff, and you're just supposed to stick stuff in here. So I have had this laying around, have never been able to find a use for it, but you know, this seems like a good way to carry stuff without it falling out all over the place. So there's the one side, and then the other side, I just started setting it up, and I figured I would do some of this on camera with you guys. But the other side has, I put a couple extra pieces, packages of the Kodak printer tape in here, or printer film. And then a whole bunch of little bits that I can stick in either this pocket here or stuff back here or whatever. This is really going overboard. I do not need all this stuff on a little weekend trip to my grandfather's house, which, I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but my grandfather happens to live outside of Gainesville. So the real reason that we're going up is to visit with him. But so this is just like a little, supposed to be a contained little art kit, even though it's way heavier and way bigger than it actually needs to be. And I just also want to point out while I have this here, this scuffing here was completely on me. My kid was trying to take it out of something and scuffed it. I'm going to try to give it a little leather cleaner love and see if any of that comes out. But otherwise, it really doesn't bother me. I just wanted to point out that I did that. He did not send it that way. The other cool thing about this is that it's magnetic, so you can open it up and lay it flat, and then it doesn't flop around when you're walking with it on the loop, the purse strap, because it's held together by the magnet. Okay, so what else do I need? So I have, as I said, this is my little art journal kit that I took with me elsewhere, and I'm probably just gonna bring it with me just so I don't need to reorganize, because I keep a lot of ephemera in here. And then I keep my markers and such that I use regularly back here. So actually, while we're thinking of it, let's go ahead and grab some greens and some blues. So, because we want orange. This is some of my watercolor kit collection. So we'll grab a couple oranges, and we definitely want at least one saturated blue. Yeah, this is the kind of blue we need for a real gator vibe. What is this? I think this is going to be too light. Let's see what its swatch is like. Oh, maybe. Okay, we'll grab these. So we'll put these in here. And then I'm just checking that my water brush is in here. Good thing I checked, because it is not. Sometimes my kids come in there's a couple art kits that they're allowed to mess with. I keep them on my desk. And my son is, my older son is very, very into art, so he loves to go in and take my stuff out. So I'm actually going to go look on his desk really quickly. Yes, as suspected, it was in his desk. Okay, all right, so we've got that together. I think that this would absolutely be enough to get me through. So I'm actually going to go ahead. I've been carrying this one in here because I love looking at it and it makes me really happy. But I think it's time to take that out and create a little room in here for myself. This is going to just get shoved back here. That can come out. This is my like day-to-day art journal. So this is for October. I'm going to go ahead and do these pages before I leave so that this is kind of cleaned up. This needs to get added in there. So basically I'm taking this because it's sort of the traveler's notebook that I typically art journal in. This because this is specific to my Gainesville weekend. And now I'm going to do what I call like essentially a kit creation. So I'm going to go through my huge stash and I'm going to pull out things that fit with the theme that I'm going for in this. And actually, before we do that, why don't we go ahead and do the background watercolor of this notebook or this little sketchbook, and then that can dry. So I will show you guys how I essentially prep. In theory, yes, I love bringing my watercolors and everything on vacation, but it's also freeing to just have the watercolor piece down and done, and then just use that as the sort of base layer and not having to think too much about, you know, and if you already have a base layer down and you just put a photo with, you know, maybe a little piece of something behind it, that's enough in my mind, at least. And then of course there's other people that literally just put a photo and a couple words and that looks gorgeous too. But my style, as you can see, is very watercolor abstract, right? So sometimes I like to just make it easy on myself, knowing that the point of this trip, and almost every trip I take nowadays, is for our kids and to visit and to see new things. So there's not a lot of time where I'm just sitting around getting to do what I did when I was traveling before kids, which was like, I mean, I had so many times when my husband and I were in Europe that I just sat at a coffee shop, you know, on the street and just sketched or did watercolor. I don't have that luxury anymore. So, okay, so I'm going to get my watercolors. Here is my beautiful palette. And let's start with the back, rather the front and back, the covers. So the first thing I want to do is to reactivate the watercolor, and I'm just going to reactivate those colors that I think I'm going to use, which is some blues and some oranges and stuff that's like in the orange range. Okay, and then maybe just a little bit of green. Get the actual gatory color in there. Oh wait, obviously we need some metallics. What am I thinking? Maybe, okay. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit for a second and then I'm gonna get some water and a brush and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are probably the two brushes I'm going to use. One, this is good for splattering. Almost all of my original watercolor brushes that I've used for over a decade now are silver black velvets, and they've held up. They've all held up beautifully. And then this is a more recent purchase. I was looking for a wide brush, and this is really beautiful. And I like to just kind of use it to get really sort of more dry brush effects. So you'll see how I do that in a second. So let's start. Okay, we are gonna do my go-to technique. I think that it's always good to have a sort of just a little list of things that you default to when you're trying to create something quickly and or just without too much thought, I guess is what it is. So for me, that is always using watercolor, throwing it down, just letting watercolor do its thing. And then I love to do texture techniques. So I will put this on here and scrunch it up, and it's going to leave a really beautiful texture like this. And then secondly, I love watercolor splatters, so I always mix those in as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna start by spraying some water on here so that it's already activated. And I'm just gonna pull some up and go like this. The issue, or something I have to be cognizant of and be careful of, is that blue and orange will turn to mud, right? Let me put a little bit of something else in here. Blue and orange will turn to mud, so you want to be careful of that and cognizant of that. And you may not mind mud, and that's fine. If you're cool with mud, then mix it up, but I don't think it makes a very pretty color. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put these on here for a second to kind of hold it down, because we want the saran wrap or the plastic wrap to have constant contact. So we'll come back in 5 minutes and this will be ready to go, because as I said, this is not true watercolor paper. It's going to dry super quickly. The water gets absorbed very quickly by this paper.